The results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
Oh,
Next question.
okay. You said it's sustained an injury.
What did you say in response when Miss Heard said, "Tell the world, Johnny, tell them Johnny Depp, I, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence"?
I said yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
I just want to let you guys know that this video is going to get demonetized, which I don't necessarily care about. I didn't make this video for money, but when a video gets demonetized, YouTube will not push it out to a larger audience. So just so I don't get crippled in the algorithm, if you could take a minute to like this video, and if you could subscribe and turn on our notifications on this channel, you'll also enter for a chance to win $500. In 2009, Johnny Depp would have an absolutely life-altering experience, meeting Amber Heard on the set of The Rum Diary in an interaction that would alter the course of both of their lives. At the time, Johnny Depp was in a relationship with Vanessa Paradis, a French singer in which he had 2 children with. Shortly after meeting Amber Heard, Johnny would then end his relationship of 14 years with Vanessa. But according to public knowledge, the two didn't necessarily have anything to do with one another. The split was amicable. Johnny was growing restless after 14 years in his relationship with Vanessa, and Vanessa wanted to focus on her own career after devoting 14 years to Johnny's. Vanessa and Johnny cited the strain that their work schedules had on the relationship, saying that relationships are very difficult, especially in the racket that I'm in, because you're constantly away or they're away, and so it's hard. Johnny would later admit that he tried to numb himself after the split because it was so difficult to break up with someone that he shared his life with for 14 years. And soon after, he would enter one of the darkest, most tumultuous relationships of his entire career, and an argument could be made that it would ruin his career. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard would start dating in 2012 and remain private about the relationship until they appeared as a couple at the 7th annual Heaven Gala in January of 2014. Very shortly after, the couple would get engaged, and that's where the story gets extremely dark. Johnny and Amber would marry one another on February 15, 2015 on Johnny Depp's beautiful 44-acre private island, and just 1 month later, one of the most deceptive moments of their entire marriage would occur. At the time, the media would report that Johnny Depp allegedly cut off his finger and accused Amber Heard of cheating on the set of London Fields. In 2016, this TMZ article would be published, which would claim that Johnny Depp allegedly would get drunk and high off of ecstasy and then smash several bottles on windows and then would slam a plastic phone against the wall unit. Amber Heard would then claim that one of the items would cut off a portion of Johnny's middle finger on his right hand. Now this is where it gets gruesome. Amber Heard would then allege that Johnny Depp would dip what remained of his forefinger in the paint and then used it to write starring Billy Bob and Easy Amber on a mirror. Reports of abuse would follow throughout the rest of the year, which would result in Amber Heard filing for divorce on May 23, 2016. Now, Heard initially recited irreconcilable differences and would go on to file a temporary restraining order against Johnny Depp in May of 2016, claiming that she was harmed by Johnny Depp. The petition also reportedly contained a photo showing multiple bruises on Amber Heard's face, which she claimed came from Johnny Depp. A judge ordered Depp to stay at least 100 yards away from Amber Heard and that he should have no contact with his ex-wife. The restraining order would be tossed out as Heard would retract her allegations against Depp just 1 day before a hearing was to be held on the matter. The statement from the couple would say that their relationship was quote-unquote intensely passionate and at times volatile, but it was always bound by love. Depp and Heard would go on to reach a $7 million divorce settlement on August 16, 2016. Amber Heard would then begin a romance with Elon Musk in the spring of 2017 that would end a few months later in August. Everything remained quiet until the Washington Post published an op-ed from Amber Heard, which would result in this trial. The article was titled, "I Spoke Up Against Sexual Violence and Faced Our Culture's Wrath. That has to change." And this was the straw that broke the camel's back, because Johnny Depp was never never explicitly named in the article, but everyone believed that she was speaking of Johnny Depp when she mentions how her career took a hit in the wake of the divorce allegations, and this would take us to where we are currently. In March of 2019, 4 months after this article, Johnny Depp would file a defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard for $50 million. The lawsuit would claim that Heard was actually the aggressor and Depp was the one who was the victim. Depp believed that Disney dropped him from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as a result of Amber Heard's op-ed, which was also released 3 days after her movie Aquaman to potentially generate some publicity. Heard filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit a month later, which would result in Johnny Depp's legal team firing back by filing an opposition to Heard's motion, arguing that she made up the allegations and painted the bruises on herself to generate sympathy. But the Justice for Johnny movement wouldn't begin until a fateful day in 2020, where a transcript of Amber Heard in Johnny Depp's therapy session was made public. And believe me, this is absolutely chilling. Johnny Depp would say, if things get physical, we have to separate. We have to be apart from one another, whether it's for an hour or 10 hours or a whole day. We must. There can be no physical violence towards each other. Amber Heard would respond saying, I agree about the physical violence, but separating for a day, taking a night off from our marriage? Johnny Depp responded by saying, all I'm saying is we need to take whatever time we need, you need, I need to kind of let things settle for a minute so we don't kill each other or fucking worse. You know, really kill each other or fucking break up or whatever. If the fight escalates to the point where it's insulting for both of us, or if it gets physical, the violence, that's when we should just say, look, let's go to our corners. You hang wherever you want. I'm going into the office and I'm just going to sit there and try to de-jellify my fucking brain. Amber would respond saying, I can't promise that it will all be perfect. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, sometimes I get so mad I lose it. I can fucking promise you I will do everything to change. I promise you. I'm not going to throw around divorce and not say divorce unless I really mean it. Johnny Depp would respond saying, I love you and I want you to be my wife. And I want to be your husband and I want to be a good husband. If I haven't been, I'll do everything I can to find out how to be a good husband. In 2020, Johnny Depp would lose a libel case against news group newspapers who called him a quote unquote wife beater. But this accumulation of information doesn't even compare to the information that we have as a result of their defamation case. Johnny Depp would open his testimony by expressing how shocked he was at the DV allegations that were levied against him, saying that they escalated to scenarios that were not based in any species of the truth. Depp admits that no matter what the verdict of this case was, his career would never be the same again, and his only motivation is to set the record straight. Depp would say that he felt that it was his responsibility to stand up for himself and his children, and that he thought it was horrible for his children to go to school and have their friends approach them with the People magazine cover that featured Amber Heard with a dark bruise over her face. Depp would then open up about himself, about his difficult upbringing and how his late mother would throw ashtrays, high-heeled shoes, and telephones.
Almost worse than the beatings, because the beatings were just physical pain, and the physical pain you learn to deal with. You learn to accept it. Psychological and emotional abuse. That's what kind of tore us up, I think.
His father he described as very kind and quiet, and that he was not a confrontational person. When his mother would go on tirades towards his father would remain very quiet, and while she would deliver pain, his father would swallow it. Depp would draw these parallels to his marriage with Amber Heard. Johnny Depp would also address some horrible text messages, including a text message exchange with Paul Bettany about burning and drowning Heard, writing, I will her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she's dead. Depp would say that he was embarrassed about the heat of the moment messages and attributed it to his admiration for the works of Monty Python and one of his close friends, which contributed to his vocabulary. On day 2, Depp would discuss how Amber would have a need for conflict and a need for violence that erupted out of nowhere and would draw a parallel to his childhood. Whenever Heard would get hostile, he would do what he did as a child, which was retreat, just like his father. However, unlike his father, the couple's arguments would escalate into violence. It could begin with a slap or a shove or throwing a remote at Johnny's head, throwing a glass of wine at his face. All in all, it was a consistent theme in their marriage. This is when Johnny would provide his first bit of evidence about Amber Heard admitting to abuse, playing this audio recording where Heard would admit to starting a physical fight with Johnny Depp.
And I watched you lie, and then
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, You're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, you've been in a lot of fights, been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a close.
You didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not deck you. I was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are you?
What am I supposed to do? Do this? I'm not sitting here about it, am I? You are.
In one instance, Depp claimed that he was roundhouse punched by Heard and then presented a photograph in court showing Depp's battered face. Depp would then get questioned about an incident where he allegedly headbutted Heard, but he would respond that he was just trying to restrain her.
But me, I know that there was no connection to her nose. No part of my body made connection to her nose or eyes or anything. Like, she took it away and she showed it to me. She said, "Way to go, Johnny, you broke my nose." And I knew I hadn't, so I said, you go into sort of placation mode, which is, "Oh my God, let me see. Are you okay? What happened? Let me see." And she wouldn't let me see anything. I was waiting for her to dispense with that Kleenex because I didn't trust it. And so I waited, and when she dropped it into the wastebasket in her bathroom, or in our bathroom, and left the room. And then I pulled the Kleenex out of the trash and realized that it was nail polish.
This will bring us to one of the most infamous moments in the entire case, where Johnny Depp would allege that he found literal human fecal matter on his side of the bed days after he had an argument with Amber Heard in April of 2016.
So I understood why it wasn't a good time to go down there. My initial response to that was, I laughed. It was so outside. It was so bizarre and so grotesque that I could only laugh.
The scenario went like this. Johnny Depp texted his security guard that he was going to his shared home with Heard, who would respond saying that it wasn't a good time. The security guard would then send a picture of human fecal matter on his side of the bed. Heard would then try to blame it on the dogs, which, if you didn't know, the dogs were actually a reason for a very uncomfortable apology after they got detained for trying to bring their dogs into the United States.
Australia is a wonderful island with a treasure trove of unique plants, animals, and people.
It has to be protected.
Australia is free of many pests and diseases that are commonplace around the world. That is why Australia has to have such strong biosecurity laws.
And Australians are just as unique, both warm and direct. When you disrespect Australian law, they will tell you firmly.
I am truly sorry that Pistol and Boo were not declared. Protecting Australia is important.
Declare everything when you enter Australia.
I don't know what the that was.
Depp would testify that the dogs are about 4 cups each, and they're teacup Yorkies, so they're not capable of taking dumps that are that gargantuan. This case would progressively get more and more bizarre. This wasn't even the worst thing that we heard so far, as Johnny Depp would address losing the tip of his right middle finger in the spring of 2015, while he was in Australia to film Pirates of the Caribbean 5, claiming that his cut middle finger occurred following a dispute with Amber Heard over a prenuptial agreement. When the idea of a prenup was brought up to Heard, it would quote unquote springboard into unpleasantness and arguments, which, with all due respect, I'm a very hopeful and idealistic individual. In an ideal world, should you decide to pursue this path in life, we all find that one special person that we spend the rest of our lives with and never have to experience a divorce. But in the world of acting, with all due respect, where actors and actresses are notorious for volatile relationships for a variety of different reasons, getting a prenuptial agreement shouldn't be too hostile of a conversation, especially in the world of acting, especially when your estate is on the line and when you're one of the most notorious actors of a generation. Right now you're in love, but who knows what can happen a few years from now when the oxytocin wears off. Depp would apparently remove himself from the argument and locked himself in a bathroom. Later on, Depp would go to a bar by himself and pour himself 2 or 3 shots of vodka, which was his first taste of alcohol that he's had in quite some time. Heard would then come to the bar and start screaming at Depp for drinking alcohol, calling him a monster and throwing a bottle of vodka at him. The first bottle of vodka thrown would miss Depp, which would result in Johnny Depp grabbing a larger bottle of vodka to pour himself another shot. Heard would then throw that larger bottle of vodka, and this time it would make contact and then shatter everywhere. Depp would then look at his hand and saw his middle finger was severed and only saw meat and bone. He said that he was really close to having a nervous breakdown after looking at the bone of his middle finger. Now on day 3, this would come up again where Amber Heard's lawyer would accuse Johnny Depp of way more than what he is just saying in day 2. We'll get to that in just a sec. Johnny Depp would close day 2 by testifying that he lost everything, and no matter what the outcome of the defamation trial was, he already lost. When the allegations were made and rapidly circulating the globe, telling people that I was a drunken, cocaine-fueled menace who beat women suddenly, no matter the outcome, the second the allegations were made against me, I turned into fodder for the media. On day 3, Johnny Depp would open up on his history of substance abuse.
I once gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking so much.
Photos were shown of Johnny Depp passed out with ice cream on his lap, which Depp would actually accuse Amber Heard of setting this moment up by handing him the ice cream despite knowing that he was passing out and then taking the photograph. Depp's text messages with Marilyn Manson and Paul Bettany were shown to the court, with texts like, "I use marijuana a lot," or details of him drinking all night and not eating for days. Depp was then cross-examined on his quote-unquote insecurities of Heard having co-stars like James Franco and Billy Bob Thornton. Depp would admit that it made him feel insecure when Heard was with others. And then a tape was played of Depp telling Heard that, quote unquote, "I became irrational when you're doing movies. I become jealous and fucking weird and we fight a lot more." Heard's attorney would then accuse Depp of using his finger as a paintbrush to write messages on the wall of the couple's residence. Depp would actually agree to writing the words starring Billy Bob and "Be easy, Amber, good luck and be careful" at the top. Heard's team would then show this clip, which is one of the most famous clips of the entire trial, of Johnny Depp slamming cabinets and pouring a glass of wine. Now, I think this is one of the most diabolical clips in this entire trial because you can see Johnny Depp is clearly upset.
All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen to you this morning? I don't think so.
And instead of trying to comfort Johnny Depp or maybe discuss it or talk it out, the initial reaction is, oh my God, he's mad. Okay, let me try to set up the camera at the most perfect and opportune place where he won't notice, but I could capture how truly this man is a maniac. Now, Depp is shown slamming cabinets and getting very upset and even talking a little aggressively, but in a frustrated tone.
Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Were you in here so that nothing happened to you this morning?
But there was not a single moment where he laid a hand on Amber Heard. Well, maybe at the point where he takes the camera and throws it in the trash, but afterwards you could actually see Amber Heard smiling once she gets the camera back. Kind of as if, oh my God, I got him. Yes, this is what I was looking for. As opposed to being sad that he's going through something, which kind of makes me think that psychologically there may be something off with her, which we're gonna get to in just a sec. I just feel bad because Heard is baiting Johnny Depp here. She attempts to cover the camera when Johnny Depp comes in and then continues egging him on when he doesn't notice the camera.
Are you crazy?
Have you drunk this whole thing this morning?
Oh, you got this going. You got this going.
With a sinister smile towards the end of the video, Depp would comment saying that he slammed cabinets, but he didn't touch Amber Heard. However, that's not to say that Depp was a saint throughout his marriage. There's an audio recording played where Heard screamed at Johnny Depp to put his cigarettes out on someone else.
Cigarettes out on someone else. You consequences for your actions. That's it.
Shut up, fat.
Yeah, you got me there.
Depp would practically accuse Heard of being a malicious and evil person who had an obsession with herself and was desperate for success and fame. So for lack of a better way of saying it, he accused her of being a clout chaser. Heard's attorneys really set up Depp for some really iconic moments in this case, which is not what you want if you're hiring attorneys. When Depp was asked if Amber Heard was the only person who had a problem with his drinking, he responded by saying, "Sir, if anyone had a problem with my drinking at any time in my life, it was me. The only person I've abused in my life is myself." Heard's attorney would then follow up by playing a clip where Johnny Depp told his ex-wife that he had no interest in getting clean.
I get clean and sober and we fix a lot of our problems.
I'm never getting clean.
I know.
And honestly, I just can't stand this narrative that a man has a drinking problem and as a result, he's automatically the worst person on earth. I mean, don't get it wrong. There are some individuals that do have a drinking problem that are horrible people, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive with one another. I don't think correlation implies causation at this point. No, I'm not encouraging people to go out and drink because obviously you could be irritable afterwards and there are a lot of negative effects on the brain because it is a depressant, but at the same time, just because someone drinks drinks doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna come home and lay a hand on their wife. That's like the equivalent of saying Nikocado Avocado is going to beat up whoever he's currently in a relationship with just because he eats way too much food, where in reality the only person he's truly abusing is himself. I'm not saying that Johnny Depp is by any means perfect, but you can be a high functioning member of society and completely sober and still be a sack of crap. Depp would then begin April 26th by bringing in his Bahamas island manager.
He didn't come out of the seat, and she was hugging and kissing him, and I love you, I love you. She was telling him I loved you. He didn't react. Johnny sat there, eventually got out of the John Deere and proceeded to start to walk away. At that time, Amber started to grab at him and his shirt and trying to pull him back to the house. Just basically viciously trying to pull him back and get him back into the house. And
the island manager said that she was getting worried about what was going to happen and she had to remove him from the situation. Now, this is going to be a very common theme of Amber Heard's side, saying that Roberts does get paid $10,000 a month to manage Johnny Depp's estate. So therefore, she clearly would have a vested interest in Johnny Depp's success because she is a financial beneficiary of him. But what Depp would do next was a stroke of genius. He would bring in a clinical and forensic psychologist by the name of Dr. Shannon Curry to do a complete psychological evaluation of Amber Heard.
When somebody with this disorder is going through that initial enmeshment phase with new people and they're idealizing them, they often will take on the identities of those people. So they may mimic them in a lot of ways. They might mimic the way they dress, their interests, the way they talk.
Curry would then state that Amber Heard has borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder, saying that after evaluating her over 12 hours on December 10th and December 17th in 2021, there was evidence of those diagnoses in her records and in her self-report. The doctor said that Amber Heard was self-righteous and had an overly dramatic presentation with impressionistic speech that really lacked any substance. Dr. Curry would get cross-examined by Heard's team and would later on admit that she had dinner and drinks with Johnny Depp and his entire legal team at the actor's mansion before she was hired. The attorney would then try to completely invalidate Curry, claiming that she wasn't a credible witness, citing a February 2021 court document from Depp's attorneys that stated that Curry would testify to Heard having borderline personality disorder and making false accusations and being a perpetrator of intimate partner violence. But Curry didn't meet with Heard until December 2021 and told the court that she didn't form her opinions until after the two sat down.
You a question, I'd like you to try to answer my question. You understand that if you found favorably to Ms. Heard and negatively to Mr. Depp, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be testifying.
Objection, speculative.
No, okay, sorry.
Hold on. The objection is speculation.
That's not speculation.
No, I'll sustain the objection if you want to ask.
Okay. If it goes to bias, Your Honor.
I sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay. All right.
The day would conclude with an officer stating that she didn't perceive Amber Heard as a victim of DV.
Up until that point in time, did you see anything that made you believe that there had been an act of domestic violence there?
I did not.
And that's where we currently stand. Hopefully this caught you guys all up because I was trying to do a lot of digging to find what happened up until this point. Couldn't find it yet. If you want more of this content, make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications, and you'd also enter for a chance to win $500. And if you could leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.